Thank you, Dan. Good evening once again. Mark Warburton is one of a host of managers chewed up and spat out by the Nottingham Forest machine. The Queen's Park Rangers have given him time because the need for stability was greater than the short-term desire for the quick fix. Now they are seeing the benefit. Forest are enjoying another new manager bounce, yet another new manager bounce. But will Steve Cooper be the man to finally sort out a great club? Well, the early signs have been promising. 4 changes for Queen's Park Rangers following that defeat here on penalties to Sunderland in the League Cup on Tuesday. Kai, Odebajo, Gray and Amos are the players who make way. Adoma, Gazelle, Johansson and McCallum come in. That's the entirety of their middle third, with Dickey, Device and Barbe, the 3 behind them, along with the goalkeeper Seni Dieng and Chair, Willock and Dykes in attack. 1 change for Forest. Zinkernagel is dropped to the bench. Lolly comes in as the number 10. Samba in goal. Worrell, Figueiredo and McKenna, their back 3. Spence, Yates, Colback and Lowe in midfield, with Johnson and Graben supported by Lolly. And both sets of players are gathering around the centre circle as the 2 captains, 2 very experienced men, Stefan Johansson and Lewis Graben, conclude the pleasantries as the Queen's Park Rangers team head towards this near side to peel off their white tracksuit tops. Nottingham Forest already in their pre-match huddle, in their red shirts, white shorts and red socks. Queen's Park Rangers in the blue and white hoops, white shorts and white socks. And it's their man of the moment, Elias Chair, who will get the game underway. 5 goals in 5 games in the Championship. And this is a really big game for Queen's Park Rangers to try and bounce back from defeat here against Sunderland in the League Cup, and also for Nottingham Forest to show that their home loss against Fulham was merely a bump in the road to recovery under their new manager, Steve Cooper. A blast on the whistle from Andy Davis, the referee, and he drops to his knee, and every other player carries on, just forgetting the pre-match ceremony, which is applauded on all 4 sides of the stadium. And the football weekend is underway once again across the TalkSport network, and Nottingham Forest very quickly on the attack from the Queen's Park Rangers kickoff. Here is Lolly now up towards the edge of the penalty area, and the shot fired in, and it's just wide from Johnson, and Queen's Park Rangers barely got started, and Brennan Johnson almost made them pay.
Yeah, I mean, look, they had the warning because they didn't take the knee, and basically Johansson went straight back to Barbe, so Forest knew when they restarted the kickoff, that's exactly where the ball was going. Lyndon Dykes was operating out wide on this flank, so they were going to look for the diagonal up to Dykes, but in the end it was a heavy touch from Barbe, seized onto it, and to be honest, they could have been 1-0 down then. If that was just a yard maybe closer to the post, maybe it would have got Dieng scrambling, but as it is, you know, they've got to just be a little bit wiser there, QPR, too predictable with their play.
And Albert Adoma has picked up a knock in the build-up, and I'm not sure he'll be able to carry on here, because he got to his feet and very quickly crumpled to the turf straight away and called on the medical team. So an accident-prone start to this game for Queen's Park Rangers in so many ways, and Adoma seems to have a problem with his right ankle, and his pale blue white boot is being flexed at the moment. He was coming in field to try and deal with the shot, and I think he was just clipped on the edge of the penalty area by a Forest player as they were watching the shot from Johnson go wide, and it's caused a problem here for the veteran.
Yeah, absolutely, and he is down. I mean, you know, one thing I would say as well, Barbe was probably a little bit too high from the kick-off. He probably needed to be a little bit deeper, closer to his box, because that touch that he had, even if it was a tight one, obviously the Forest players knew where it was going, and one thing you don't want to do if you're the home team here like Mark Warburton is give the away team any sort of encouragement. Bad start.
Well, Adoma is hobbling across towards this near side and will maybe try and run it off. 2 minutes played here at the Kai and Prince Foundation Stadium, but only about 20 seconds worth of football so far. Osman Kai is currently warming up along with Moses Adebayo, who would be the two potential replacements. And the game will restart with a goal kick from Sonny Dieng. Wide towards the far side, where rising to head the ball out of play is Joe Worrell, and it will be a throw-in to Queen's Park Rangers. Good noise inside this stadium before kick-off, and the Nottingham Forest fans have travelled in great numbers in the school end away to our right-hand side. They have sold out their allocation, both tiers, absolutely jam-packed, and not too many empty seats elsewhere around this tight, compact stadium. As it's cleared downfield on this near side by McKenna. Straight out of play, and it will be a throw-in for Queen's Park Rangers. Forest have won 4 of the 6 previous meetings here. Although last season Queen's Park Rangers were victorious by 2-0 on the opening day of the season. And the home side currently 7th in the championship table, one of 7 teams on 21 points. And they're currently 8 points behind Fulham, who are second in the table. Forest 4 points behind the playoff zone, but they are playing catch-up. 16 points in 7 games since the sacking of Chris Hughton. Only a single draw in their opening 7 games, which led to his departure, equaling their worst ever start to a season back in 1913, as Johansson was just caught out on this near side.
Well, it's again, he didn't really have a look over his shoulder there, Johansson, a bit like Barbe, a heavy touch, and Forest are at it, they're nice and bright when they don't have the ball, real intensity about their play to go and win it back, and QPR just need to sharpen up a little bit.
A high ball played on this near side. Adoma is back on the field of play as Colback heads it wide, looking for Lowe, and it's straight out of play, and it will be a throw-in to Queen's Park Rangers. 4 minutes played, 0-0. And the ball is spending plenty of time off the field at the moment as Figueiredo controls ahead of Lyndon Dykes, and once again just boots it straight out of play on this near side for a throw-in which Adoma will take down the Queen's Park Rangers right, back towards Dickey, both sides employing 3 central defenders. Now Device, who is the central one for Queen's Park Rangers, and once again the passing from both sides has been pretty awful.
Yep.
And straight out of play for a throw into Forest.
Yeah, you almost had too much time on the ball, and you think out of all the centre halves that probably they want him to have it. Certainly not Dickey, and that looked to be the case there in terms of, right, we'll press Dickey, but if it goes to Device, he might give it us back, and that's exactly what happened there.
Now the fair-haired Worrell in field to Figueiredo. And now McKenna on this near side for Forest, finding Lowe again, the former Derby youngster who is currently on loan from Sheffield United. But his ball forward is quickly won back by Queen's Park Rangers, and it was high and wide to this near side looking for Adoma, but it's hooked away by McKenna, and it will be a throw-in in the end to Forest on this near side. Taken by Lowe, who has been a regular starter, as the ball is given away by Forest, and a shot from Willett from the edge of the penalty area drifts harmlessly into the arms of Samba.
Well, to be honest, it was closer to like 30, 40, 35 yards out there, Willock. I mean, why try to attempt to strike at goal there when he's got front 2 Dykes and he's got a chair ahead of him? He's just got to carry the ball to the edge of the box. That's that sort of decision making from Willock. That's why he's in that position just off the front, trying to feed the front men, and certainly shouldn't be taking shots on from that far out.
Queen's Park Rangers with 5 defeats in their last 8 games after 6 games unbeaten to start the season. They have always been around the top 6, and they've been very good here. 14 of their 21 points have come at home, and 3 of their defeats away from home have been against the current top 3, and we saw them live on TalkSport 2 at the Hawthorns a few weeks ago when they led that game for so long before eventually crumbling very late on, and it's a game they really should have put away. As Worrell has it for Forest, midway inside his own half. 6 minutes played on the home of the EFL, TalkSport 2. Queen's Park Rangers 0, Nottingham Forest 0. Worrell with the ball down the line looking for Johnson. Excellent challenge though from Barbe. Went to ground and won the ball cleanly, and he had to in that sort of position. And here is Chair with the gold boots on this near side. Back towards Dickey. And Chair now will break over the halfway line, looking for the run of Dykes down the centre, but it's cut out quickly by Lowe. Sol Campbell just sits down in front of us here at the Kian Prince Foundation Stadium. David Pleat, Sol Campbell are all here tonight, like a Tottenham reunion from the 1990s. Now Worrell, wide to the far side for Forest, and the early ball forward is a good one from Spence, and there is space and time for Johnson to attack the penalty area. Lolly in support, Grabban waits at the far post. In the end, Johnson just delays and waits for the challenge, which comes in from Barbe, and Forest have the game's first corner.
Yeah, brilliant ball into the channel though from Jed Spence, fantastic. Brennan's onto it. I think he could have delivered this a lot earlier. It was a 2v2 in the box basically, Grabban free at the back post. He didn't really ever look though to deliver it. He just wanted to take his man into the box, and by the time he looked across it was a little bit too late. Corner's probably the best thing he could have hoped for there.
8 minutes played, 0-0. Forest with the game's first corner. It's played short to Johnson on the edge of the area. And now work back towards Colback, who fires in the shot, which is quickly blocked on the edge of the area by McCallum. And it spins back out wide to the far side, where Forest will be content to have a throw-in. And it's left for Jed Spence, who scored an own goal against his former club Fulham last week to put Marco Silva's team on their way. And it's broken down for Forest again, and now Gazelle, midway inside the Queen's Park Rangers half, plays it back to Willock, and then all the way back towards Device, who gives a rather difficult back pass to Dieng, who does well to ride the challenge of Lolly inside the 6-yard area and play it long downfield.
I mean, they have played it long a couple of times now, Nigel, and every time Figueiredo or McKenna's won the header up against Dyke, so that Forest back three has started really well.
Rangers looking to build now on the far side with Chair. Scurries in field and finds Willock. Back towards Chair again, but Yates did well to track his run, won it back, but then it's given away cheaply by Forest. Willock now left-hand side of the penalty area, infield towards Chair, and the pass was slightly behind him, so he rather shoveled it through the penalty area, where it was gathered by Bryce Samba.
Yeah, he was unlucky. I mean, he's looked, in terms of his positioning, Elias Chair, whenever the ball goes up the Dykes, he's almost alongside him like a front two. When they don't have it, he's a little bit deeper, so he knows he's got to try and feed off those scraps, those knockdowns. But at this moment in time, whenever Forest have headed it clear, they've headed it with good distance, those two centre-halves. They've done well against Dykes.
Now Spence with the early ball forward, looking for Grabban. Headed away though by Device, and Dickey has time to find Chair. Back to Andre Dazelle, son of Jason. And now Adoma just has his shirt pulled by Lowe, but does well to feed it back in field. Gazelle almost collides with his teammate Adoma, but Dickey plays the ball across the field. It was a dangerous ball, but it's eventually won back by Barbe, and then McCallum slides in, and his lunging challenge allows the ball to find Johansson. It was played through towards Dykes, who's just unable to control inside the penalty area, and it's gathered by Samba once again.
Yeah, it's just an awkward pass into him, wasn't it, from Johansson? He couldn't get the ball on the deck. Quite a few sort of ricochets there, and the ball was never really on the grass. Difficult to take in his stride there for Dykes. And unusually, uncharacteristically, they've, QPR been pretty sloppy in possession, haven't they? Misplaced passes, and there's always a player, Barbe, scrambling to win it back, going to ground, lunging tackles, etc., just to retain the ball. McCallum there as well, just nipping in time, so they haven't quite had the crispness. Look, maybe that comes from they only played a couple of days ago, maybe it comes from that as well.
Now a long ball played forward again for Forest, seeking out Lewis Grabban, but it's claimed by Seny Dieng. And we heard Mark Warburton before kick-off talking to Jim White and Simon Jordan yesterday on TalkSport, talking about the schedule, and he may have a point, but in a sense, is he also giving the players an out?
Well, possibly, but I think, as we know, the Championship is relentless. Games coming up, away, fixtures, a lot of travel on the road, but I think you know that when obviously once a season, you just know that's the programme.
Now McKenna picks up a loose ball for Forest, raiding down the left-hand side, early cross into the penalty area, and there was not a single red shirt inside the box. That's where you need Lewis Grabban, but here come deep towards the edge of the penalty area, and in the end, Queen's Park Rangers will clear, and it's a throw-in for the home side on the far side, midway inside their own half.
Yeah, I mean that there, Grabban came short to link the play, but once he's outside the box, that's up to Lolly. He's got to now make the box, and so is Brennan on the back post, and neither did. Nobody in there. It was a good run from McKenna.
Sam McCallum, who is on loan from Norwich, is fouled on the far side, so Queen's Park Rangers have the free kick. And Mark Warburton has used the loan market very smartly so far this season. McCallum has done well, playing down the left-hand side. And he's facing one of his former clubs this evening, Mark Warburton. Kept Forest up on the final day of the 2017 season, but was sacked within 6 months. And there have been 13 permanent managers in the last decade.
Oh, Dieng
City ground. It's Dieng again, given a horrible ball back inside this 6-yard area. This time he was closed down by Grabbid, and the ball just squirted outside the penalty area. And Queen's Park Rangers are playing a very dangerous game.
Yeah, they've just been really casual, sloppy in possession. Ball's gone back to Dieng, and he's trying to control it with the front of his foot, and it's just gotten away from him ever so slightly. He's then had a little stumble, and then blasted it out to Barbe. He's bounced right in front of Barbe. Just a little... so that's a trigger to go and press the ball once you see a centre-half receiving a pass like that, and they got away with that one, QPR.
13 minutes played, 0-0. Lyndon Dykes is penalised for a challenge on Figueiredo. Forest have a free kick, and they were bottom in late September, Nottingham Forest. They only levered themselves off the basement when Derby had their points deduction, but Steve Cooper with 4 wins, a draw, and that defeat against Fulham so far. And of course, he is a manager used to working at the other end of the Championship, twice in the playoffs with Swansea in the previous 2 seasons. And Forest are not too far away from that area as Johnson wins a long ball inside the penalty area, goes down. The referee has a look towards the assistant on the far side, and there was no flag across the chest, so as a result there was no penalty.
Oh, that was clumsy. That was clumsy from Barbe. I mean, maybe if it was at the other end, in front of the Forest fans, might have been given, I don't know. I mean, that to me could have easily been a penalty. I mean, Barbe just took too long. The ball just bounced in the air. He tried to get on the end of it. Brennan just sort of gave him a little nudge. Then he got away from him, headed it down, broke into the box, and Barbe just sort of clumsily ran into him from behind. It could have easily been a pen.
Now McCallum down the left for Queen's Park Rangers. Sidesteps away from Spence initially, but the cross is then blocked by Worrell. And it will be a very good battle, that. McCallum against Spence. Pace to Burn down the Forest right. As Device heads it forward again for Queen's Park Rangers. It's laid off by McCallum. Into the path of Dazelle, and the long ball forward again is gathered by Samba. Well, Queen's Park Rangers may believe they're owed one after the disallowed goal, which would have won them the cup tie on Tuesday night. We're watching a replay now on the monitor here, and
it's clumsy.
Was there sufficient contact, though?
Well, I mean, there was contact, you know, whether it's sufficient. I mean, he's pretty waif-like. I just don't think you run the risk there, Barbe, but he's got away with it.
Well, there was a slight shove in the back, but was it enough to send him over? Maybe the assistant to the referee believed there wasn't. Here is Lolly, though, coming forward for Forest now, really relishing this role, playing behind the 2 strikers. He's found Colback, support from Lowe, wide on the left-hand side, back in field towards Lolly again. Johnson and Grabban both went inside the area, but Lolly goes for goal, cutting in field, and the shot poured away by Dieng for a corner.
Yeah, lovely strike. I mean, we all know about his left foot, Lolly. Terrific. I mean, he's built the play, linked it, set it wide to Lowe. Max Lowe's done really well because he just give it straight back to Lolly, shifted it onto his left peg, and that is arrowing in the top corner. I mean, it is going towards the near. You'd expect Dieng to save that, and he does. It's a good strike, though.
Well, he's not scored for a year, Joe Lolly. Not too far away there.
He scores spectacular ones, though, doesn't he? I mean, he's got such a great strike on him.
Corner for Forest on this near side. 16 minutes played, 0-0 at the Kyan Prince Foundation Stadium. An in-swinging corner. Dieng comes and punches. Believes he was fouled as well, and the referee agrees, and it's a free kick.
Well, was it for... I mean...
The referee will always give a free kick.
Exactly, but you won't give one to Brennan Johnson when Barbe's equally clumsy. But, you know, I didn't see too much in that. I think, maybe.
There speaks a striker, David Connolly.
Yeah, I mean, look, his arm's probably a little bit, you know, Yates' arm probably a little bit across the end, but soft. But you always get it, don't you? Keepers Union, always get that. Can't touch them. Protecting species.
Well, Dieng will take the free kick. And it's glanced back by Figueiredo towards Samba. And we still await the first goal here. But Forest have looked the more likely scorer so far. Low now, down this near side, the left, has Lolly in support. And they've worked the 1-2. Low with a low cross into the area, stabbed away by Device. One back though by Yates, back towards Worrell. And slid into the path of Lolly now, who pops up on the right-hand side. With Spence in support for Forest again. Now Yates, back towards Worrell, and a number of young players who have been given their opportunity in the Forest team over the past couple of years. Pretty much all featuring in this team picked by Steve Cooper tonight as Adoma's back pass finds Dieng, of course. Cooper's a player who is very comfortable in using young players following his work with the England under-17 side. World champions, of course, a few years ago with some household names in the team. As Adoma comes forward now for Queen's Park Rangers down the right. High cross in, nodded away by Worrell. One back by Chair, but he's unable to link up with Willock on the edge of the area. Now Johansson with the Alice band. Plays it back towards Dickey. And Queen's Park Rangers looking to build some momentum here.
Well, just looking at Elias Chair, I mean, in the programme he's saying about last season, he might have played, one or two good games and might have gone off the ball for the next one, etc. And he's been a little bit off the ball here. And it's only early days and he's had minimal touches, but they haven't ever found their intended target so far.
5 goals in 5 games for him, though, after only 1 in the previous 16. Adoma now slides it into the area. Dykes was almost goal side of McKenna, but it was really good defending by Figueiredo. And his clearance is quickly charged down by Adoma, and Forest will have a throw-in. The Autumn Nation Series Rugby Internationals are all live and exclusive across the TalkSport network. England, Scotland, Wales, Ireland and France welcome the best teams in the world, including the World Cup winner South Africa, the All Blacks of New Zealand and a resurgent Australia side. It all kicks off tomorrow at 2 o'clock on TalkSport 2, Scotland hosting Tonga at Murrayfield, and then the big one, Wales against New Zealand in front of a packed house in Cardiff. The TalkSport network is your home for autumn rugby. And it means all of the live football tomorrow will be on TalkSport or the TalkSport app, as Adoma is shoved to the floor by McKenna on this near side, and it will be a throw-in, or rather a free kick for Queen's Park Rangers. Fulham against West Brom, the 12:30 kick-off tomorrow, is live only on the TalkSport app. Leicester against Arsenal at 12:30, Liverpool against Brighton, and Spurs against Manchester United at 5:30. All those games are live in game day over on TalkSport. And TalkSport 2 is your home for the Autumn Internationals. Some huge rugby union games coming up.
Well, it's good to see Adoma's okay since that first minute little collision. He's showed a couple of nice bits of skill out wide on the flank, and he's on his side a free kick here.
Chair and Johansson are over it. Tight to the touchline. On this near side, the Rangers right. Everybody back defending here for Nottingham Forest. And it's swung in by Chair towards the far post. It's deflected off Worrell. Dickey tries to hook it towards goal. It seemed to strike a Forest hand inside the area, but nothing was given by the referee. And now Lolly finds Colback, and it's back towards Figueiredo and slid down the line now by Lolly for Lowe. Lowe's ball forward will seek out Grabban, but Dieng outside his penalty area sees the flag is up for offside, and Queen's Park Rangers will have a free kick.
Yeah, good start position. I know he's offside, but a good start position there from Dieng, just on the edge of his box. I saw him here against Preston, and he was a little bit too deep in his box at times, but nice start position from the keeper.
Now Figueiredo heads away on this near side, and he receives a headed ball back in field from Lowe inside the Forest penalty area, but the Portuguese player has the confidence to bring the ball down and play it out, but it's quickly won back by Queen's Park Rangers. Dykes with a shot which was deflected into the penalty area, but if anything it took the sting out of the ball and made the save easier for Bryce Samba. Now he clears long downfield. The game is very stretched here in the opening 22 minutes, but goalless on TalkSport 2, the home of the EFL. Queen's Park Rangers have scored in all 25 of their previous games in the Championship. If they score again here tonight, it would equal a record going back to 1966. Now Worrell, wide to the far side again, and Spence, who is on loan from Middlesbrough.
Lolly's looked so lively, doesn't he? Just off the front. I mean, he drops to the right hand side, drops to the left. He's in that little sort of pocket. Dazell's having trouble picking him up, and obviously he's so comfortable with the ball at his feet. He's looked really, really sharp so far.
Here is Ryan Yates, a player who, after a long time, is finally really establishing himself in the Forest midfield.
Well, he just sucked Dazell out, and then Yates has got to find Lolly. He's in the pocket, completely unmarked between the lines, in between the QPR midfield and their defence, and maybe again he's made another really good run. He's on all the time, Lolly, if they can find him. He just turns away. He's a bit frustrated. He could have had it twice or three times now, and he hasn't got it.
Now Graben heads on, and it breaks for Johnson now. A mistake inside the area from Device. Johnson looking to twist and turn, but it's won back by Dickey. He quickly finds Willock, and Willock, as he tried to turn, was just pulled down by Colback midway inside the Queen's Park Rangers half, and it will be a free kick to the hoops.
Yeah, I mean, Device just completely misses his header, and I think if Brennan had gone with a bit more conviction here, you know, and got the ball out of his feet and really drove at the box, he could have made his way into it. Then it's a little bit harder to go and tackle him. And that's that central centre half I was talking to Dan, in the preview about, whether it's him or Dunn.
Now Johnson's been released by Spence down the right-hand side. Looking to take on McCallum, and this time McCallum keeps up with him toe-to-toe and slides in to concede the corner.
He's really direct, isn't he, Brennan Johnson? He never really checks out. He believes, he trusts his pace, got that fearlessness of youth. Gets it out of his feet, drives into the area. McCallum just does enough. He had to time that well, and he did, but he's down now. He's struggling too.
24 minutes played here on TalkSport 2, and Sam McCallum will require some treatment here before the corner kick. More action from Europe coming up across the TalkSport network next week on Tuesday night on TalkSport 2, 5:45, Malmo against Chelsea, and that will be followed by Sheffield Wednesday against Sunderland. League One commentary also on TalkSport 2 with Atalanta against Manchester United on TalkSport. Then on Wednesday, kick-off will be around the grounds with Adrian Durham, Mickey Gray, Chris Owellamo and Jerry Taggart. Blackburn against Fulham will be the Championship commentary here on TalkSport 2, and there is an Old Firm double on Thursday in the Europa League. Brøndby against Rangers at 5:45, followed by Ferencváros against Celtic at 8 o'clock. And it's the FA Cup first round beginning next Friday, and I'm really looking forward to my trip to AFC Sudbury. They'll be taking on Colchester in the first round. We'll be live from the Suffolk-Essex borders this time next week, and I'll be joined by the former Colchester winger Perry Groves. He was a very quick winger in his day. I saw him destroy Tranmere once. Must be about 35 years ago, but he was a great player, Perry.
I'm sure you've seen a lot of players destroy Tranmere.
Yes, but never you, strangely enough, Dave.
Yeah, I knew you'd say that. That's why I teed it up. I know you're a staunch Tranmere fan. I knew you'd come back.
There's a change here for Queen's Park Rangers, and it's McCallum who was unable to continue following that challenge on Johnson, and Moses Adebayo, the player who will come on. So not a change that Mark Warburton was looking to make at this stage. But it will be an in-swinging corner for Nottingham Forest on the far side as McCallum still makes his way off behind the goal at the Loft. And the corner is low and flat into the 6-yard area. Worrell tries to jab it towards goal, but it's headed away by Adebayo. Now Colback back towards Spence. Spence twisting and turning away from Johansson. And it's wide towards Lolly again, who comes in field, threads it through towards Johnson. Low ball across the face of goal, and it's almost scrambled into his own net by Adoma inside the 6-yard area. But somehow he diverts the ball wide, and Ryan Yates, who is sliding in, can't believe he's not scored.
Yeah, just took it off the toe here of Yates. I mean, brilliant pass this is from Lolly. Cuts in field with that left leg, lovely left foot, spots the little run of Johnson, deceives everybody. He laces it towards the far post, and Yates has got a tap in. In the end, brilliant little intervention, but it was nearly an own goal. I think it was Adoma, didn't really know too much about it, got a little toe on it and nearly fell in by the far post.
Well, there's a wry smile on the look of Albert Adoma, and that's no surprise because he was so close to putting the ball into his own net. Lolly with the corner, deeper this time, looking for Yates at the near post, but once again it's headed away. Now Spence has got space and time for Forrest to attack the penalty area down the right, runs into Adoma, he goes down, the Forest players appeal for a penalty. Andy Davis, the referee, gives a free kick to Queen's Park Rangers.
Well, I mean, Spence can't believe this. I'm talking about the delivery. I mean, Lolly's on these corners, he whips them in with such ferocity. They can't clear it out the box, and then in the end Spence gets onto it, and I think there's contact there. I think it's Adoma just seems to catch Spence from behind. I think that should have been a penalty to Forest.
Well, they've had two good penalty shouts so far, have Nottingham Forest, and they've really taken a grip on this game at the moment.
Yeah, they've looked really good, sharp, they're moving the ball well. There's a real intensity about their play which we haven't really seen from Rangers so far.
28 minutes played, 0-0. Forest have not been involved in a 0-0 so far this season, but they've also only kept 2 clean sheets. As Figueiredo and Johansson just are coming together, and the Forest fans find their voices in the school end away to our right hand side, and there is outright pace in so many areas of this Forest team, and you can't really say that about Queen's Park Rangers, can you?
And there's a directness about them and a fearlessness, whether it's Johnson, Spence. I mean, that should have been a penalty. I mean, Adoma has just sort of wiped his brow there and puffed out his cheeks in relief that wasn't given against him, which, I mean, Mark Warburton has bemoaned decisions going against him, hasn't he, VAR, etc., but I think if VAR was here tonight, I think they would have given that as a pen.
Now Willock on this near side, back heels it into the path of Adoma. Adoma can sway into the penalty area, but the cross is blocked. Now Dazelle will go back towards Dickey, and all the way back to Device. And Barbe out on the left-hand side, has Adebayo in support, playing on his wrong side, really the left. He was warming up earlier to possibly replace Adoma down the right, Moses Adebayo, but he's having to fill in once again, as he did on Tuesday. Johansson with a terrific ball to this near side. Adoma keeps it in play, hooked into the area. Dykes tries to volley it towards goal, but never really got hold of it, and it bobbles into the arms of Samba.
Yeah, that is where you'd rather see Adoma attacking down the flanks, kept that in play. Nice little touch out the sky and just try to help it back in before it went out of play, but I mean, obviously defensively not his strength, but got away with that one.
Now Figueiredo is just down on his haunches inside the penalty area, but he looks to be okay. Andy Davis, the referee, is dwarfed by both Bryce Samba and Tobias Figueiredo as he drops it back into the path of the Forest goalkeeper. And Lyndon Dykes looks to be the most likely source of a goal for Queen's Park Rangers so far this evening. And he's been in a decent run of form. Of course, has scored 4 times in his last 4 games for Scotland and has 5 in total for Queen's Park Rangers so far this season. As the wind just picks up slightly inside the Kyan Prince Foundation Stadium after heavy rain earlier on today. It's now a dry, clear evening. Just a slight chill in the air with the end of British summertime coming late on Saturday night.
Well, Steve Clark's here, obviously having a little look at Dykes, I think.
He's got 1 or 2 contenders. Yeah. Scott McKenna, also the central defender for Nottingham Forest.
He started well as well, up against Dykes, really well.
Well, Lyndon Dykes really is the key to Scotland's success. They've got a big game coming up against Moldova in the World Cup qualifiers, which will be live on TalkSport 2. If they win that game, they'll be assured of a playoff place, it seems. As McKenna just tidies up ahead of Adoma, plays it back towards Samba, who clears downfield. Now Dazelle. Back towards Yuri Device, who has had a troubled start to the game. A couple of mistakes which he's managed to get away with.
There's been a couple of really clever passes here from Rob Dickey. A couple of times. Once he's got it as the outside centre-half, looked to play to his wing-back and then reversed it on the inside to Johansson. He just got it again. That time Colback thought, you know what, you're not going to reverse it on the inside, so I'll block that off. The wing-back was free, so he gave it out to his wing-back Adoma. I mean, it's just such a fantastic pass with the ball, Rob Dickey. Really intelligent with it in possession.
Now Dazelle does well to Rob Lowe, but gives it straight to Colback on this near side. But Dickey now wins it back and has time to stride forward and find Johansson, who gets the ball out of his feet. Claims he was barged over by Colback, but nothing given by the referee. But sliding in to win it back was Dazelle. All very untidy again as Figueiredo hits a long ball forward for Forest. It's quickly won back though, and now Adebayo has got time to bring the ball forward down the left-hand side for Queen's Park Rangers. He'll take on Spence. Two more speedsters in direct opposition. His low cross is sliced away by Figueiredo on the far side, and it will be a throw into Queen's Park Rangers.
Well, I think Device has got an issue now. He's gone down as well. Just in the centre circle while the ball is out of play.
Well, Jimmy Dunn is the natural replacement for him, should he have a problem.
Well, those words of Mark Wilson about, the workload of players is almost...
Well, he's played the same back three tonight that he did on Tuesday.
Yeah.
He's often played Jimmy Dunn in the League Cup games, but I think Dunn's been not harshly treated, but I think he's done well when he's come into the side and has possibly done enough to earn a place on a more regular basis.
Yeah, I mean, this is obviously there was no contact here, was there? So this looks to be a muscular issue, and normally they're going to be hard to shake off.
And we welcome listeners from TalkSport to the Kyan Prince Foundation Stadium. 34 minutes played. Queen's Park Rangers 0, Nottingham Forest 0 is the latest score. Rangers are about to make a second change due to an injury in the first half, but it's Forest who have had all of the chances. Joe Lolly with a shot which was clawed out by Seni Dieng at the near post. Albert Adoma also was inches away from scoring an own goal after an excellent ball in from Brennan Johnson. And Forest have also had two penalty appeals waved away by the referee, Andy Davis. David Connolly, the former Republic of Ireland striker, is alongside me. And Queen's Park Rangers have been very good at home so far this season, but not tonight.
No, they've been really slow starters in from the kickoff where they nearly conceded, and obviously they were lucky not to concede a penalty as well. I think there was a certain foul on Judd Spence, and that Forest have been fantastic, really bright, nice and aggressive, intensity about their play. They've been excellent so far.
And the change is made for Queen's Park Rangers. Jimmy Dunn comes on to replace the injured Yuri Device. Earlier on, Sam McCallum was replaced. He had a problem, and Moses Adebayo came on for him as he looks to bring it forward now for Queen's Park Rangers on the far side. Pushed further wide towards Willock, who runs into Spence. Spence tries to get Forrest moving, but he was dragged back by Adebayo, and it will be a free kick for Nottingham Forest. Rather untidy at times here at the Kyan Prince Foundation Stadium. It is Queen's Park Rangers 0, Nottingham Forest 0. Commentary continues on TalkSport 2. It's another long ball forward for Nottingham Forest is gathered by Seni Dieng. Now Dickey brings it forward on this near side. He's got time again to find Dykes, who lays it wide into the path of Johansson down the right. Johansson will try and take on Colback. Back towards Adoma. High hanging cross from him is met by the forehead of Worrell at the far post, and then Johnson does well to roll Barbane. He's away now for Forest. Great pace on the far side. The right has got Graben waiting inside the area. He checks back once again. Low cross driven into the penalty area and into the arms of Dieng. No end product.
Wow, he is so quick though, isn't he, Brennan Johnson? I mean, he's almost preying on Barbane as the ball breaks about 10 yards over the halfway line inside his own half, Brennan. He is onto this like a flash. I mean, he's second best, but he gets there first. Barbane lunges in, he skips past him, then drives into the box again. But but he never really gets his head up to cross. And I think at times it's great to carry that ball into the danger area, but you've got to have a look. You've got Graben in there, made a great little run towards the near post. He could have picked him out. But I love that fearlessness about his play, Brendan. Absolutely fantastic.
Forest have won their last 4 away games, and you've seen already why they've been so good on the counter-attack. And they have not won 5 in succession on their travels since 1994. And that's the club record, which they also achieved 3 times under the late, great Brian Clough in the 1980s in the old First Division. But they'll believe they should be ahead in this game already, as Johnson once again on the halfway line. This time he's shown respect by Queen's Park Rangers. They just drop off 10 yards and give it the time to turn. Now Colback having his arm and then his shirt pulled by Dazelle. Well, the ball forward for Forest is cut out by Dunn, but now Dykes has given the ball away and Yates can charge forward. He's found Spence deep inside the penalty area, right hand side, and the cross in is deflected behind. Was it? No, it's a goal kick. Another Queen's Park Rangers player went careering off the pitch. It was Moses Adebayo on the far side, but he's okay. But Nottingham Forest have got Rangers on toast down that right hand side.
Yeah, and they are so quick. I mean, it's really hard for them to keep up. I mean, brilliant play from Yates there, just to out-muscle on the halfway line and release the ball into Spence, who's always on the overlap. I mean, we've seen that. He's got a great goal against Birmingham on the overlap. Fantastic. He can make the yardage, that's for sure.
Well, Bristol City are the only team to win here so far this season, with a former Rangers player, Naki Wells, scored in added time. As Adoma comes forward again, looks to find Johansson inside the area, but it's Figueiredo who steps across. And Queen's Park Rangers have scored a number of goals in the second half of games this season. No team in the Championship has scored more times in the second half, and they may need a similar sort of showing here. But Adoma with a high cross into the area, way too much air on that. It's gathered by Samba, and in the act of falling he's able to bowl the ball out wide to the far side, and Lolly. Now Graben has Spence in support. Graben continues his run down the right, but it's back towards Worrell, who changes the point of the attack with a crossfield ball to find McKenna on this near side, the left. Nearly 40 minutes played on Talk Sport 2. 0-0 here at the Kai and Prince Foundation Stadium. But Nottingham Forest, once again away from home, have been very impressive.
Well, one thing you've got to do if you're QPR, when you're delivering that ball in the box, not hang it up like Adoma did there, because that is invitation for Bryce to come and claim it and then set Forest on the counter. The delivery's got to be much better.
Willock now pokes it wide to Adoma for Queen's Park Rangers. Down their right, back towards Willock again. Challenged by Lolly, but he's gone beyond him. Colback will force him wide, but here is Adoma. Dangerous cross into the area, nodded clear by Figueiredo. Lolly believes he was pulled back by Dazelle, and the free kick is given to Forest just outside their own area.
That's a much better ball in though from Adoma. Maybe on his left foot when he's cutting in, you concentrate maybe a little bit more when it's on your weaker side. Much better ball. But as soon as Bryce Samba, that Forest keeper, claims across, you can see Lolly, he's already on the move. That is well rehearsed in terms of counter-attacking. He's already on the move in behind, and Johnson ahead of him.
And Johnson was able to isolate Dunn there, and I think Dunn was ready to pull him back, but the ball was way over both of them and gathered by Dieng. And it's that lack of pace for Queen's Park Rangers. They are the home team, but Adebayo has possibly got to be a bit more conservative at the moment, because that's where the problems are. Adebayo is doing his job, he's overlapping, he's creating the attacking width, but defensively there's a huge gap.
Yeah, there is, because obviously that three, once the wing back goes, I mean, Adebayo, you know, he's quick, so he will get up there and attack up and down, but they need to cover them in terms of midfielder. Dazelle may be holding back, but then they get pulled over all over the place. So it's tough for Barbe at the minute. I mean, if he drags, for example, if Barbe drags Adebayo in, then Spence is completely free. So it's tough, and he's quick as well.
Now McKenna coming forward down the left-hand side, wide to low. Early cross into the area, and Johnson just tried to guide the ball in towards the far post, but failed to make contact. It's another opportunity for Forest, which comes to nothing.
was unlucky. Good run from Johnson, got across the near, but just didn't really get a contact on it. Again, promising attack. Forest have been fabulous. Got to say, they've been really, really good. So confident here. I mean, I think the start set the sort of tempo of it. So in from kick-off, QPR predictable what they were doing. Everything's been predictable and easy to read, and Forest hunted them down right from the first kick.
Now Adebayo does well to come away from a challenge with Spence, and here is the high-stepping Willock on this near side, wide towards Adoma twisting and turning beyond low, and he can break into the area, pokes in the cross. There's a missed kick from Dykes, and then Gazelle was looking to win the ball back, but he clearly caught his man on the edge of the area. It's a Forest free kick, and it may be the first yellow card of the evening, and it is for Andre Gazelle.
Yeah, I think Jack Colback just got there ahead of Gazelle. He's done well, Jack Colback. I think Mark Warburton referenced him before the game, and the importance of players, and he mentioned Jack, obviously vast experience, another one like Lewis Grabban in there. Strong spine, haven't they? They've got a nice strong spine, nice mix as well, Forest, through the middle of the pitch,
which makes you wonder why it didn't happen under Chris Hughton.
Well, I'm trying to think another side that played with this intensity and impressed me this much, and there's an away team in the first, how long we played, 20 odd minutes, 25, whatever it's, half an hour. Not too many. They've been really good here for us.
But it's still 0-0 with 90 seconds of normal time to play in the first half.
Oh, I got that a bit wrong then, didn't I? I'm not looking at the clock, I'm just engrossed in the game. I thought we'd only played 20 odd. Oh well, it's nearly half time. Thanks, Nige.
Sorry, I never listen to a word you say anyway.
Yeah, exactly.
Anyway, I think Forest will look back on the first half and believe they should be ahead, and it's a similar sort of game to the one that myself and Dan saw a few weeks ago at the Hawthorns, where Queen's Park Rangers scored in the first minute against West Brom, did not get the second goal and paid the price, and you just wonder if Queen's Park Rangers will be better after half-time, and Forest may have missed the boat here.
Well, time flies, right?
Absolutely, yeah.
When you're having fun.
The game was flown by. Samba, and apologies for the short break in transmission. You missed nothing, and we are into 6 added minutes here at the end of the first half. We have had 1 or 2 very lengthy injury breaks, of course 2 changes made by Queen's Park Rangers, but Forest finishing the first half on the attack as Worrell has to go back towards his goalkeeper after another promising moment comes to nothing. Only Fulham have scored more goals than Queen's Park Rangers so far this season, but only 3 sides of the Championship have conceded more, and we've seen more of the latter so far. But here is Dykes coming forward now, up towards the edge of the penalty area. The shot is blocked. It breaks to Chair. Right foot shot from him is blocked again. Worrell was in the way this time, and Chair falls cold back to the ground, and it will be a free kick.
Yeah, not a clean strike here from Chair. He dragged his shot to be on his left peg as well, crowded out in the end. And he's just been on the periphery, hasn't he, Chair? A bit like, I guess, a lot of the Rangers players haven't really seen that much of the ball when they've had it, and made the most of it either.
Now McKenna, all the way back towards Samba once again. And he clears long downfield. Grabban, who's been on the periphery of the game, loses out. And Queen's Park Rangers quickly play it forward again, but McKenna has space and time to guide the ball behind under pressure from Willock, and it will be a goal kick once again for Nottingham Forest. And they played the ball out from very, very deep. Figueiredo got the ball there from Samba about 2 yards from goal, and in the end the pass out was a hurried one, straight out of play, and Queen's Park Rangers have a throw-in.
Yeah, it was an awful pass out to Maxlow, bounced it right in front of him, and he couldn't really do anything with that. Tried to help it on with his head and put it out of play instead. I mean, they're not the biggest, are they, for us? When they play out from goal kicks, there's no one really to aim for. Grabham's, pretty small, Johnson small.
Now Chair, wide towards Adebayo. Down the Queen's Park Rangers left, and the cross in, again is claimed by Samba, and Lyndon Dykes once again watches a cross go high over his head.
Yeah, and Lolly was on his bike there. He wanted the ball from Samba to play out and go and counter, and here they are again on the front foot.
Good covering though from Dazelle, forcing Yates back towards the back three, and Figueiredo stands there, arms outstretched, saying, where are the options? Yates looks to find one now. It's Johnson down the right-hand side, and Johnson will take on Barbe. He's gone beyond him again, but Barbe does well to recover, and in the end stumbles as the ball goes behind, and the final touch was off Barbe, although he disagrees, and it's a corner to Forest.
Yeah, he just backed off in Barbe because he knows he's so quick, and he just tried to play the ball around one side of him and skip round the other. In the end, Barbe tried to see it out of play, and as he did, he's got a little nick on the ball. I mean, it was faint, but it was enough. Linesman spotted it this time.
Lolly will take the corner. Johnson is lurking with intent on the edge of the D. Everybody else very close to the 6-yard area. Lofted in by Lolly towards the 6-yard area. Dazelle heads clear. It's brought down by Adoma, who looks to launch it forward, but it's headed back by Spence. Straight to Adoma. The volley clear now, looking for Willock, and under pressure, Lowe just slices the ball off the outside of his right foot into the crowd on the far side in the Ellerslie Road stand, that it will be a throw into Queen's Park Rangers. We've played 4 added minutes at the end of the first half. Here is Adoma coming forward now, able to check back down the left. Lovely Cruyff turn, cross high to the far post. Dykes with the header, and Queen's Park Rangers take the lead, and it's Lyndon Dykes once again, made superbly by Albert Adoma. And Lyndon Dykes, who has seen the ball very, very infrequently, poaching with the far post header, and at the end of a first half which has been dominated by Nottingham Forest, it is Queen's Park Rangers who take the lead.
Well, fantastic play, as you said, from Adoma down the wing. I mean, he chopped back, looked like he was going to cross the ball on his right, and did a little lovely drag onto his left foot, and then on his weaker left foot, as we saw earlier when he delivered the ball with his left foot, he really concentrates, he focuses, and he digs this ball out to the back post, and there's Lyndon Dykes completely unmarked, just powers the header back towards goal. It's a good finish, but it's completely made by Albert Adoma. Fantastic wing play.
Lowe was done by the movement, wasn't he, from Lyndon Dykes?
Well, he just came in and darted off behind him, but it wasn't, I mean, it's movement, but it was kind of minimal. I mean, Lowe, it's just the ball that makes it, really. Lowe just got caught under it. Really good play from Adoma. Look at that with his left foot, dinked out to the back post. Brilliant.
The man signed from Nottingham Forest makes the opening goal for Lyndon Dykes. His 6th of the season. Added to the 4 he scored for Scotland. And Queen's Park Rangers lead as the half-time whistle goes. And Nottingham Forest must be wondering just how they are losing this game. They have played all of the constructive football until that moment, 5 minutes into added time. Albert Adoma with a trick in the cross, Lyndon Dykes with the far post header, and all that territorial dominance for Nottingham Forest comes to nothing. Half-time, Queen's Park Rangers 1, Nottingham Forest 0. Thank you, Dan. There don't look to be any further changes made to either side. Of course, Queen's Park Rangers lost both Sam McCallum and Yuri Device due to injury in the first half, with Jimmy Dunn and Moses Odubajo coming on. The crowd here this evening, 15,089, 2,885 have made the journey from Nottingham to West London. And really, David Connolly, that just shows the size of Nottingham Forest as a football club.
Absolutely, and they put on a really good first half performance. They've got to go again now. You know, they're kicking into them, give them something to cheer about in this second half, you know, because they played well in that first 45.
But it's Queen's Park Rangers in the blue and white hoops, playing from right to left in the first half. As we look out here from the back of the South Africa Road main stand. And it's Odubajo with a low cross into the penalty area, which goes straight behind for a goal kick. So the reshaped Queen's Park Rangers team, Dieng in goal. The back 3 is now Dickey, Dunn and Barbe. It is Adoma, Dazelle, Johansson and Odubajo across midfield, with Chair and Willock supporting the goal scorer Dykes. For Forest, Samba in goal, Worrell, Figueiredo and McKenna, their back 3. Spence, Yates, Colback and Lowe across the middle, with Johnson and Lolly, their players supporting the main striker Grabanu did not really have a chance of any description in the first half. Forest in the red shirts and white shorts have a throw-in on this near side, which Jed Spence will take. Thrown low towards Yates. And now Worrell. And it's Lolly with a lovely check back to evade the challenge of Gazelle, but in the end Queen's Park Rangers had numbers in the midfield, and Forest have to try again here with Figueiredo just inside the Rangers half. Queen's Park Rangers leading here by a goal to nil. Figueiredo maybe thought about the spectacular long-range shot, but instead he finds Spence, who has given the ball away to Odebajo. And now Odebajo is quickly challenged by Spence, and it's Yates who comes away with the ball, swings in the early cross, but once again Graben was the only red shirt inside the penalty area, and at the far post the challenge comes in from Adoma on low, and it will be a throw into Forest.
Yeah, just put too much on the cross there, Yates. I mean, Odebajo's just got to make his mind up a lot earlier, took too long on the ball, dispossessed.
Lolly, midway inside the Rangers half, scooped forward towards Graben, over his head and into the arms of Dieng. And the goal from Lyndon Dykes just before half-time means that Queen's Park Rangers have now scored in 26 successive championship games, and that equals a club record heading back to their third division days back in 1966, the early days of Rodney Marsh here in Shepherd's Bush. But it just shows if you give Queen's Park Rangers an opportunity, they will take it. They often don't score enough goals in a game due to problems at the other end, but they are always a threat.
Yeah, I mean, they fashioned it really well, Adoma, with a little run into the box and chip back and then deep ball to the back post, so it was a really well-worked goal. Certainly Adoma at the heart of it.
Slid forward now by Dazelle into the path of Dykes, and Johansson was challenged by Colback as he received it 25 yards out, so it slid back towards Bryce Samba once again. And Queen's Park Rangers must have been looking forward to a fairly positive half-time team talk, but the goal from Lyndon Dykes will have maybe just changed the mood inside the dressing room. But they have come from behind on one or two occasions so far to take points under Steve Cooper, and they'll be aware that Queen's Park Rangers do have a habit of conceding very late goals, including 3 very recent ones in 2-1 defeats, including that loss at London Road against Peterborough last week.
Well, they're moving the ball pretty well. I don't think the goal has really affected them too much. Come out here really purposeful with their passing, worked it up to the edge of the box now really well.
Lolly again cutting in field from the left-hand side. Has support from Colback, but it's further back towards McKenna, and now wide towards Lowe again. And Forrest given so much room inside the area. It's Graben down the left-hand side, twisting and turning, challenged though by Adoma. And here is Colback now on the far side. Nearly 3,000 Forest fans behind that goal waiting for the cross, but they do get a free kick. 1 or 2 challenges made on Colback, and it was the nibble from Dazelle, which leads to a free kick, better than a corner on the far side, the Forest left.
Yeah, not a bad position, you're right, almost in line with the 6-yard box, but a few yards closer. And I just wonder, Graben was in a similar position to Adoma, where Adoma crossed for QPR, and maybe he could have also tried to deliver the ball in the box. He didn't, eventually broke out wide, Colback got on the end of it and was pulled back, and he got a free kick.
And Brennan Johnson is over this free kick. Wide on the Forest left-hand side. Worrell and McKenna are both forward alongside Figueiredo. All 3 central defenders, Spence and Lowe, are the only players outside the Rangers penalty area at the moment. An early set-piece opportunity here for Nottingham Forest to equalise 5 minutes into the second half. And Andy Davis, the referee, is just having a few words with Gazelle and Yates at the near post.
Well, look at Graben at the far post. There's a 2v1 at the far post. You imagine they're trying to get a block on here.
Johnson flights in the free kick towards Figueiredo, and it's headed away well by Dickey, who has not missed too much so far. And Spence, who is the final man for Forest, will play it back towards Samba. He's quickly closed down by Willock. He's able to clear, flicked on by Lowe, and out of play on the far side for A throw in to Queen's Park Rangers, leading here by a 1-0. Starting the evening outside the playoff places, but of course they are one of 7 teams level on points at the moment in the championship, so it's always good to win on a Friday night, but for Queen's Park Rangers there will be the opportunity to win this game and then sit back and see what the others do beneath them tomorrow. And they would move up to 4th with a victory, 4 points behind West Brom, who are currently 3rd. And there have been narrow defeats for Queen's Park Rangers at both Bournemouth and West Brom recently, and they lost 4-1 at Fulham. But that game was in the balance until a couple of late goals for Fulham really swung it Marco Silva's way. Colback heads the ball away for Forrest on the far side, but it's cut out quickly by Dickey. And now Dickey still has time to bring it forward. Was it caught by Colback? He was, and it's a free kick for Queen's Park Rangers midway inside the Forest half.
Well, it's brilliant play this from Rob Dickey. So calm in possession, breaks the play up, and then he's working his way into the Forest half. Little drop of the shoulder, comes infield. You think he's going to pass square and back, but no, he's always trying to go forward, just trying to find a better pass, something that breaks a line. And he was fouled in the end. And I've been so impressed with Dickey when I've seen him, certainly in possession. The only tough game I've seen him play defensively was against Gyökeres from Coventry. It was a real handful for him. He ran the channels all day long, and he gave Dickey a really rough time in that game. But with the ball, he's outstanding, Dickey.
And it's maybe a slight surprise that nobody higher than Queen's Park Rangers came in for him, because he was on the radar for a couple of years at Oxford.
It absolutely was, yeah.
But it's a free kick, which Chair and Johansson will take. Rangers leading here by a 1-0. 8 minutes into the second half on TalkSport 2. Barbet is forward on this near side, looking to break away from McKenna, and the referee has spotted that, and there was so much pushing and pulling on the edge of the area. Dykes also goes down in the central area after tangling with Colback, and the referee once again is having a word. Andy Davis has not given a penalty in his last 14 games in all competitions, but he's had 1 or 2 opportunities to point to the spot here so far this evening. Free kick taken by Chair, high to the far post, headed across the face of goal by Dunn, and wide at the far post by Adoma, but it took a deflection on the way, and it will be a corner, and Queen's Park Rangers so close to a second.
Yeah, I mean, Dunn does brilliantly here, ball dinked up to the back post, and he's in a wrestle, but he gets there first, heads it back towards goal, and it's almost going to land on the head of Adoma, but it's just put behind from the corner. Brilliant header there from Dunn. I think it's Max Lowe, is it? Max Lowe just cleared it out just about.
Corner into the near post, looking for Dickey. Sliced clear by Figueiredo. Now Adoma strikes for goal. It hits Yates on the back and rebounds behind for another corner to Queen's Park Rangers, who are beginning to build up some momentum here early in the second half.
Yeah, and they look at a threat on this set pieces as well. They're quite a big team, aren't they? I mean, the 3 centre-halves now have gone to stand on the goal line, more or less, and Chair by looks of it. So they're really crowding Bryce Samba.
Johansson will take the corner, and it will be another in-swinger in front of the loft here at the Kyan Prince Foundation Stadium. Johansson with the delivery, Samba's rather flapped at it, Dickey with the shot inside the area, that's blocked by McKenna, and then Graben will control and plays a good ball forward to release Brennan Johnson on the far side. He steps away from Adoma, and Brennan Johnson now sprints towards the penalty, a low left foot shot from him, ripples the side netting, and once again, bags of promise from Brennan Johnson, doesn't result in a goal.
I mean, the approach play is absolutely fabulous. I mean, as they clear the ball, he's 1v1 against Adoma, and then he puts it through his legs right on the touchline, skips around the other side, fantastic, breaks into the box. But again, I think he's gone too early to get his shot off. I think he could have carried it even closer, or maybe try to pick someone out, but nonetheless, I mean, he's looked fantastic, Johnson. So direct, isn't he? He is so quick and so direct. One thought, can I go forward? It's great to see.
And he has a very big future for club and country in the Wales squad.
Well, that pace, I mean, that is going to tell. It doesn't matter whether you're playing, whatever level, terrorise anyone. International level, doesn't matter.
20 minutes Wales are quite well stocked in the wide areas at the moment, but Brennan Johnson will have a role to play in the coming years at only 20 years of age. Different sort of player to his dad.
Well, it's interesting you mentioned about Wales, because I remember reading about Dan James saying that United didn't work out because he didn't go forward enough. He checked back too much and wasn't aggressive enough in how he played, and taking people on, and that confidence seemed to be scarred by it. You look at Johnson here and he's like, that is not him at all. He's complete. Whenever he gets it, first thought, can I go forward? Can I take my man on? Can I get into the box? Can I be dangerous?
Figueiredo now plays it forward into the path of McKenna for Forrest, looking to build on the far side there left. Now Lowe, who has been an ever-present so far since Steve Cooper took over. Yates, 25 yards out in the central area, wide towards Spence. And now Worrell again, swept wide to the left-hand side. Lolly has held his run and held the width, delivers the low cross in, looking for Grabban at the near post. The ball rather striking Grabban, so he has to pick his way back outside the penalty area, find Lolly again. And now McKenna, the left-sided central defender, moving forward, finding Lolly, square to Grabban, 25 yards out in the central area. Right foot shot from Grabban, took a deflection, did it? No. And it's 10 yards wide and it's a goal kick.
Yeah, probably sums up his night so far, Grabban. He was going to play the ball wide. It was more or less the middle of the goal, really, but about 25 yards out, and thought about playing it wide, then thought, I haven't seen much of the ball, I'm going to get a shot off here. Maybe to build his way into the game, but he shanked it wide.
57 minutes played on TalkSport 2, the home of the EFL. This game really boiling up nicely. Queen's Park Rangers leading Nottingham Forest by a 1-0, but this game is far from over. Now Dickey moving forward on the far side, low into the path of Dykes in the centre circle, poked out wide towards Johansson again, but it's Dickey who takes over, and he plays it into the channel, looking for Adoma, who was quick but not quick enough on this occasion. Bowls Figueiredo over, and it will be a free kick to Nottingham Forest inside their own area. And just to remind you, the Autumn Nations series of rugby internationals are all live and exclusive across the TalkSport network. England, Scotland, Wales, France and Ireland welcome the best teams in the world. The World Cup winners South Africa, the All Blacks of New Zealand and a resurgent Australia side. All kicks off tomorrow, 2 p.m. on TalkSport 2. Scotland hosting Tonga at Murrayfield. And then the big one live from the Principality Stadium in Cardiff, Wales against New Zealand. The TalkSport network is your home for autumn rugby. And that means all of the football tomorrow will be live on TalkSport, or the TalkSport app, and the app is the only place to listen to a big game at 12:30 in the Championship, Fulham against West Brom. And you can download the TalkSport app from your usual provider, go to the live commentary section and then swipe between TalkSport, TalkSport 2 or the app-only commentaries. On TalkSport tomorrow, 12:30, Leicester against Arsenal. Rashmin Chowdhury in the chair, commentary from Clive Tilsley and Trevor Sinclair. Ian Danter will provide you with Liverpool against Brighton alongside Perry Groves at 3 o'clock. And then Sam Matterface and Dean Ashton will have Spurs against Manchester United. So many stories heading into that game at 5:30, live and exclusive to National Radio on TalkSport. And we had a shot on our monitor of the sporting director here at Queen's Park Rangers, Les Ferdinand. And he's seen the current day number 9 score the only goal here so far, Lyndon Dykes. As Johnson comes forward now, fires in a shot which strikes his teammate Lewis Grabban, who was offside anyway, and it's a free kick for Queen's Park Rangers. And there's going to be a change here made for Nottingham Forest. Alex Mighton is coming on to replace Tobias Figueiredo, so there could be a change of shape here as well.
There might be 2 changes here, yeah.
Yeah, Lewis Grabban, the captain, hands the armband via Ryan Yates to Joe Worrell, and it's Lyle Taylor who will come on with the shock of pink hair. Of course, he came on to score twice in added time at Bristol City recently.
Well, it looks like maybe they've gone to a back 4 now. I'll have to wait and see, but that's how it looks at this moment in time.
4-2-3-1, which was what they were playing under Chris Hughton.
Yeah, looks like Lolly just in behind Lyle Taylor, who's the lone front man, and Mighton out wide on the right.
And it breaks to Yates now, just outside the Forest penalty area. And now McKenna running low, who's come in field now as the fullback and almost gave the ball away, but Yates does well to work it through towards Lolly, but the challenge comes in from Adoma, but Lyle Taylor gathers, spreads it wide to the left hand side and low, early cross into the area, headed away though by Dickey. It's controlled on the chest by Johansson. Dickey with the early ball forward now, looking for Chair, but some way beyond him. But it will be out of play on the far side for a throw into Forest with 61 minutes played here on TalkSport 2, the home of the EFL. Queen's Park Rangers leading by a 1-0. A team who score in every game, but also seem to concede as well.
Well, Maxwell's just got to do a lot better there, and they worked that really well up until Lyle Taylor fed it wide, and he tried to break into the box, and Maxwell's got so much space, got about 20-30 yards to get to the box, edge of the box, to deliver. Crosses far too early, and then he underhits it. I mean, if you are going to deliver early and you've got Rob Dickey standing like 20 yards from you, you've got to get right under the ball and beat him, beat that first man, and he didn't.
Well, Queen's Park Rangers have the most goals in the calendar year in the Championship. That header from Lyndon Dykes was their 63rd of the season, and it was also their first headed goal of this season. As Lolly now does well to win it on the edge of the penalty area, fires in a left-footed shot which is a couple of yards wide.
It's unlucky, really unlucky. I think he's been outstanding, Joe Lolly, tonight. I mean, this is almost a 50-50. It looks like Forest are going to lose possession, but he goes to ground and he just manages to steal it away, then shifts it onto his left foot, as he's always looking to do. It's on the angle. He has a little look at the goalkeeper. He's got to really twist his hips to get this into that far corner, but he almost twists them a little bit too much. It just flashes past the post.
The Yang will take the goal kick. Are you surprised that a team which has scored so many goals haven't scored a header before tonight?
Yes, I am, yeah.
Does that suggest the crosses haven't been good enough, or maybe lack that sort of personnel?
Well, you would say that, you know, if you look at how they play, that they're not necessarily, you know, players who will be renowned for crossing, that are playing in those wide areas. I think Adoma he's a winger, you know, but he hasn't really had too many starts, but barring that, it's almost fullbacks playing as wing-backs who then got to deliver the ball.
Here is Adebayo playing tonight on the wrong side, coming in for Sam McCallan during the first half. Now Chair down the left-hand side, loves to cut in from the left-hand side, but on this occasion goes all the way back to Barbe on the halfway line. Now Dazelle back towards Barbe again, longer this time, but it's controlled by Worrell, who finds Spence and turns and just hacks the ball out of play on this near side. 64 minutes played on TalkSport 2. Queen's Park Rangers leading here by a 1-0. Lyndon Dykes with his 6th goal of the season, and he is a player who is very important for both club and country at the moment, and that is why Steve Clarke, the Scotland manager, is here watching him tonight among others. Now Willock comes in field from the left-hand side, has support from Adebayo, but instead goes himself, but he's already been flagged offside, and it will be a free kick to Nottingham Forest. Both these sides were founder members of the Premier League. We mentioned Les Ferdinand earlier on. He scored a hat-trick here in the first Premier League meeting in West London back in 1993. As it's flicked on now by Dykes into the pack of Chair. Back towards Dykes again. The low shot though blocked at the near post by the legs of Samba, and that was an opportunity for Forest to maybe finish things off.
Well, good save in the end from Samba, wasn't it? Nice little 1-2 between Dickey and Chair. They got it again.
Here is Chair now down the right-hand side, wide towards Adoma. The early cross-in is met by Willock, who was coming in behind Dykes, and I don't think he was anticipating the ball would find him, and as a result the ball just rebounds off him into the arms of Samba. Quickly Forest look to break at the other end now, with Johnson, has Lolly on the outside on the left. Lolly with a low cross into the penalty area, blocked though by Dickey, who celebrates as if he scored a goal, because he knows that cross was heading for either Taylor or Mighton inside the area.
They're not hanging around though, Forest, are they? They're back in play really quickly here. What a switch of play that was from Ryan Yates. Absolutely fabulous. About 50-yard raking diagonal set them on the attack.
And now Lolly lost the ball and then lost out on the far side and rather lashed out at the player who won it back from him. And it will be at least a free kick here. It was Andre Dazelle, the player, who was caught. And we are about to see a final change for Nottingham Forest. Philip Zinkernagel, the player on loan from Watford, is coming on. And the player he replaces is Joe Lolly.
Well, Joe, I thought played really, really well. Played really well, but like for like change. Obviously, Zinkernagel just playing off the front, that number 10 position. That's a surprise. I mean, unless he's managing the minutes here of his team, I don't know, but I thought Joe Lolly was fantastic.
Well, 2 home games coming up for Forest next against Sheffield United and Preston before the international break. But there are hallmarks of this team which Steve Cooper used to manage at Swansea in the way Forest are looking to play. And a number of their supporters weren't happy with that style of play and are much happier now that Russell Martin is trying to play a more pure passing style. And while it was great in the South Wales derby when they hammered Cardiff, it's not working on other occasions, but I suppose it's all about trusting the process. As Chair comes forward now down the right-hand side for Queen's Park Rangers, has support from Adoma, and it's wide towards the veteran now, infield towards Chair again, and Adoma will look to bob and weave towards the edge of the area, but he's lost out, and Zinkernagel can bring it clear. A player who never really made too much of an impact at Watford after arriving from the Norwegian champions Bodo Glimt. Now Johansson slips it through towards Dykes, and it's a brilliant challenge inside the area from Spence. Dykes clean through, it seemed, about to pull the trigger, and Spence appeared from nowhere to lunge in and stop a certain goal.
He's just got to shoot quicker here. I mean, he gets his shot off in the end, but it's blocked by Jed Spence, who gets across brilliantly. I mean, that probably stops. It's probably going to nestle in the back of the net based on Dykes' form. Put in superbly by Johansson on a plate, and then I think Bryce Samba had guessed which way the shot was going, which was across goal, but nonetheless, great block by Spence.
Adoma juggling with the ball by the corner flag on the far side, but he runs out of room, and it will be a goal kick. Well, Lyndon Dykes barely had a touch before he scored the opening goal deep into first half added time, but he's had a couple of really good chances since half time to finish things off. 69 minutes played here on TalkSport 2. It's still only 1-0 to Queen's Park Rangers. Now Chair with the goal boots gleaming on this near side, comes in field beyond Worrell, almost slips it through towards Dykes on the edge of the area, but the through ball took a deflection and it's cleared by Lowe. Wide to the far side and Johnson, but it's quickly won back by Dickey. And now Adoma will look to release the pace on the far side, the cross in, looking for Dykes. And it will be cleared by Mighton on this near side for Forest.
It was just over here, was it? He made a really good run there. Dickey towards the near post. He just needed the ball a little bit lower. It's put about a yard over his head. That's that quality from out wide. You know that quote, right? That Cruyff quote. I must tell everyone this now. Cruyff said if fullbacks were that good at crossing, they'd be wingers. There's something in that.
Yeah, in that. Probably, but
I mean, no, there is exceptions, obviously.
In those days, we had fullbacks and wingers. Now,
yeah,
we have players who are somewhere in between, aren't we?
The hybrid model.
Is Aaron Creswell a winger?
No.
Well, Johan Cruyff was wrong. No, I'm only joking. But I suppose it just shows the way the game is changing.
Yeah, absolutely.
Adoma comes forward on this right-hand side, but eventually weight of numbers wins it back for Forest, and then it was Johansson who flew into the challenge to ensure that Lowe's clearance wouldn't go downfield, and it's all the way back towards Samba once again. And Forest are possibly losing their way in this game as they look for the equalising goal. Queen's Park Rangers are enjoying a good spell, but there is space now for Zinkernagel to play it wide to the left-hand side, and Johnson, Taylor and Mighton wait in the centre, but this time Dickey makes the challenge before Johnson can get into a dangerous area.
Well, let's see if he has the same sort of joy up against Dickey as he did against Barbet.
Zinkernagel turns, left foot shot from him. It's fisted away by Dieng, high into the air, almost catching out the Queen's Park Rangers goalkeeper. Throw into Forrest on this near side. Spence quickly gets it back from Mighton, and Spence goes down, challenged by Barbet, who was furious, and it will be a free kick here for Nottingham Forest.
I'm not too sure what he's complaining about there, Barbet, because it looked to me a foul, but yeah, Johnson obviously now up against, he's moved wings since the change, so he's up against Rob Dickey, and a couple of times, I don't know, I think if that was Barbet, it'd be past him, but Dickey just managed to get in the way. Good strike from Zinkernagel, but kind of straight down the throat of Dieng.
Zinkernagel is over the free kick. As Nottingham Forest toil here in their search for an equalising goal. 18 minutes to play at the Key and Prince Foundation Stadium on a breezy night in West London. Zinkernagel flighted high towards the far post, nodded away as far as Colback, who couldn't find the space for the shot. Appeals for handball from both sides as the shot is deflected back into the penalty area by Johnson, and it's swooped on by Dieng on the edge of the 6-yard area.
I think Colback just tried to gather this ball as it broke in the box. He tried to take a touch. I don't think he had time to take a touch, and the touch got away from him, and he should have just shot it first time.
And we welcome listeners from TalkSport to the Key and Prince Foundation Stadium, where we have 18 minutes to play. Queen's Park Rangers leading by a 1-0. A far post header from Lyndon Dykes deep into first half added time, following an excellent cross in from Albert Adoma. Nottingham Forest have worked hard in the second half, but they are finding it very difficult to create chances, and Dykes has had two really good opportunities to finish the game for Queen's Park Rangers. On the first occasion, Bryce Samba made an excellent save, and then Jed Spence denied him with a brilliant covering challenge. David Connolly is alongside. It's been a really good game, but you just wonder if Forest have run out of steam.
Yeah, it looks like it. I mean, he's made so many changes now in terms of shape and personnel. Steve Cooper trying to find a way back into the game, but QPR just grown stronger. I mean, they're pretty poor in the first half, to be honest, barring the goal, and now they got the lead and their tails are up a little bit, and as you say, had the chances to make it 2 and 3-0.
The Queen's Park Rangers will move up to 4th place in the Championship if they can hold on to the situation. They're looking to improve it here. Onabaju down the left-hand side, challenged in the end by McKenna, and it will be a throw-in for Queen's Park Rangers. And they have now scored in 25 successive Championship games, which is a remarkable record, and this could be a rare clean sheet for them this evening. Chair now by the corner flag on this near side, looks to win a corner, and he does so, and this could be the opportunity for Queen's Park Rangers to finally finish things off, and Chair will take the corner kick on this near side, the left. Nottingham Forest pulling everybody back apart from Brennan Johnson, who has been a real threat with his pace on the left-hand side, but so far has just lacked the end product as the Queen's Park Rangers fans find their voices on this near side. Chair is assessing his options, plays the corner short towards Willock, back towards Chair again, slid low into the penalty area, and it's cleared away by Worrell. The conclusion of this game on TalkSport 2, it is Queen's Park Rangers 1, Nottingham Forest 0. As Onabaju clears long downfield once again for Queen's Park Rangers. Now low, he's given the ball away to Willock, and Queen's Park Rangers can break here themselves. Dykes waits in the centre. Here was Adoma, left-hand side of the area. Now Chair, wriggling away from Worrell. He delivers the cross in. Dykes was looking to volley towards goal, and it was headed behind by Yates for a corner.
Well, I know what Forrest are complaining about here. Is it high boot, maybe? In terms of the corner, I mean, they're going bananas. Bryce Samba is out of his goal to the referee. Nice little skill from Chair, received the ball in the box, faked across it, defender went to ground, got to the bar line, dinked it to the back post, again looking for Dykes, but in the end Forrest just managed to scramble it away. And is it a high boot? I don't know, maybe a high boot on Yates or something. I don't know what they're complaining about, Forrest.
Well, I think that Dykes actually pulled out of the challenge as Yates went to head the ball behind. Corner kick, high to the far post again. Dickey was arriving. In fact, it was Dunn who was arriving. It was volley clear by Spence for another corner on the far side, the right. We've seen some very inventive set pieces from Queen's Park Rangers throughout the season. Clearly something which Mark Warburton works on.
Well, he would have known that from Brentford. They, used to have their own set-piece coach who would devise different set pieces and ones to come up with against different opponents, etc. So one thing you don't want to do is the corner preceding this one, where they played it along the ground, trying to be really clever, and Forrest cut it out. And obviously with Johnson up top, don't do anything like that, because on the counter they're a real threat.
Once again, Andy Davis, the referee, is halting play. There is so much shirt pulling and blocking off going on inside that 6-yard area from both sets of players. And now the corner kick will be taken by Johansson. An in-swinger from the right-hand side with 13 minutes to play. High, and Johansson's header is, or rather the corner kick is fisted clear. And now it's controlled by Chair, who drifts away to the left-hand side, taking 2 Forest players with him. And now Chair looks to go beyond them both, but he's given the ball away. But the ball forward again is cut out by Adebayo, who will find Dieng, his goalkeeper.
Yeah, not the best pass there from Yates, who's had a good game as well in possession. Some of his passing has been really good, but that time he just needed to find a target rather than just clearing it aimlessly upfield. It's probably not good enough now.
Yates plays it in field to Zinkernagel. He was caught late by Dykes, was he? Well, Zinkernagel went down, claiming he was caught, but nothing was given. Zinkernagel plays it straight out of play, and it will be a throw-in, and not before a change. And it's Luke Amos who comes on to replace Elias Chair.
Yeah, I mean, he did okay, Elias. I mean, he was maybe not quite his usual bubbly, bright self. Could be accumulation of games, as Mark has spoken about, Mark Warburton's spoken about, but I think he was a bit better in the second half. He was more purposeful, attack, got to the bar and showed some nice touches. But maybe it wasn't quite his night tonight.
Albert Adoma providing the key assist in the game so far. The cross which was headed home by Lyndon Dykes. And we have 12 minutes to play. The possibility of back-to-back defeats for Steve Cooper now looming large. As Dykes nods it down on this near side, looking for Willock. And there's pressure here on Spence, and too much pressure applied according to the referee. And it's a free kick to Nottingham Forest. Forest in their 14th successive season in the Championship. A record they hold with their East Midlands neighbours, Derby County. 13 managers in the last decade. It's scooped right to the far side by the goalkeeper, Bryce Samba. Over the head of Dykes, he was taking a real risk there, but he found McKenna, but very quickly the move breaks down. McKenna says, what on earth are you doing?
My goodness, I mean, you wouldn't want that ball in for Sundays anywhere, even in, 50 yards away, never mind on the edge of your box.
Now Johansson turns down the right-hand side for Queen's Park Rangers. Cute ball to find Adoma. Deep inside the penalty area. The cross there was blocked. Amos will try and win it back, but Worrell clears. And it will be a throw-in to Queen's Park Rangers on the far side.
Yeah, that will start with that kick out from Bryce Samba. Just do things properly. If it's not on, don't go out to your left side, centre half. Try and find a pass forward rather than putting him in trouble, and then he's got to clear it long. In the end, you give it away.
Jimmy Dunn will go all the way back towards Dieng. Lyle Taylor will close him down quickly, but Dieng had time to smash the ball downfield. McKenna rising above Dykes once again.
He's done well, hasn't he? Yeah, McKenna won a lot tonight.
But I suppose he will look back on the goal which came down his side.
Yeah, but I mean, unless, obviously Lowe just got done that tiny bit of movement. There wasn't a lot wrong they did in that game, just that one moment.
Now Johansson charging over the halfway line for Queen's Park Rangers. Has Dykes in space to his left. Lyndon Dykes breaking into the area, sliced the shot wide of the near post under pressure from Joe Worrell.
Yeah, he never really looked convincing on his left side. Johansson didn't quite have the pace to get away. He was hunted down. In the end, he had to offload it to Dykes on his left-hand side. Took one touch. He didn't have the pace either, really, to get into the box. Took the shot early on his weaker left side and missed the target by a fairly long way. The
games between these two sides rarely pass without drama, and we've had one or two moments here tonight. And going back through the years, Stan Collymore with a late winner for Forest at the City Ground against Queen's Park Rangers, 3-2 when they were both in the Premier League. But their last 28 meetings have all been in the second tier, and the first of those back in 1997 when Forest were heading back briefly towards the Premier League was a 4-0 victory. Pierre Van Hooijdonk with 3 and TalkSport's Dean Saunders with the other. Now Dykes wide to this near side, and Amos threaded back towards Dykes again, but he's challenged by Colback on the edge of the area. And now Spence will try and sprint forward beyond the challenge of Amos on this near side, but Barbe went to ground and made sure he won the ball, but it spins out of play for a throw into Forest with 8 minutes to play.
He just gobbles the ground up, Spence, doesn't he? He's so quick. I haven't really seen Zinkernagel on the ball enough, and if I compare him to Joe Lolly, when Lolly was on, he was darting all over the place, getting into little pockets. He moves really well, Lolly. He's sharp, he's quick, but at times Zinkernagel hasn't got quite the same explosiveness about him.
Well, he scored loads of goals for Bodo Glimt when they won the title in Norway, which was unexpected. Of course, they were the team who beat Roma 6-1 in the Europa Conference League last week. Now Dykes for Queen's Park Rangers. Wide to the far side. And Adoma, who comes in field again, but shows too much of that to Colback. And Forrest will try and bring the ball away, but there's a challenge on the far side by a combination of Adebayo and Johansson on Maiton. And the yellow card is shown. I'm not too sure whether that's to Adebayo or Johansson.
I think it's to Johansson. I mean, I saw Johansson do a few of these challenges against Fulham, and he was a lucky boy in the end. Could have been booked a lot earlier, but it is Johansson.
Yeah, I mean, Johansson.
He did that against Fulham, and I thought, well, maybe is it because obviously he's playing his former side? I mean, that was a dreadful challenge. He had a few of them against Fulham too. He needs to cut that out of his game. I mean, he's nowhere near the ball there.
Well, he was suspended recently for too many yellow cards following a booking in that game against Fulham.
Yeah, he was lucky. He could have had 2, but
I think he was taken off before he was sent off.
Absolutely, yeah.
Oh, another challenge from behind, this time from Adebayo on Maiton, but play continues, and we have 6.5 minutes to play. Queen's Park Rangers leading here by a 1-0. As a clearance from Dieng is charged down by Taylor, who backheels the ball in field and finds Brennan Johnson inside the area. Crossed high to the far post, and Maiton was waiting for the ball to come down, but as he did so, Adebayo came back with a flying challenge to bullet the ball behind for a corner.
Yeah, great recovery run. In the end, just Dieng took too long on the ball. Taylor did well to keep it in play. Johnson with the ball to the back post, but great recovery run there from Adebayo. Took no chances, just nipped in ahead of Maiton and put it out for a corner.
And there is a Queen's Park Rangers player down, Rob Dickey, inside the 6-yard area. The Forest fans on their feet behind that goal believe he's just looking to manage the clock. But Zinkernagel will take the corner kick, and it will be an in-swinger from the far side. Forest running out of time. Zinkernagel's corner in towards the near post, headed away, back out towards the taker. Zinkernagel looking to twist and turn, finds Worrell, who is onside, back towards Zinkernagel again, crossed in towards the near post, and Lyle Taylor was lurking, and it's sliced behind by Dickey for another corner.
Yeah, I mean, he was just down on his haunches a moment ago. I don't think he's quite moving well enough, and as that cross came in, he just put a sort of little leg out, and it just sliced up and it's gone out for another corner.
Well, they've used all their changes. Zinkernagel will take the corner kick once again. The Forest fans finding their voices. Trailing by a 0-0. The corner is headed away at the near post by Dykes. Now low with a dreadful ball back to this near side, and he hangs his head. It's high over Zinkernagel, and it will be a throw into Nottingham Forest to Queen's Park Rangers.
Yeah, and that's where, as that ball comes out to low, he's just got to take a touch and make sure he just punches it back to Zinkernagel with a bit of quality, and then they can just put it again straight back in the box. They've been much more wasteful in this second half, haven't they, Forest, compared to the first?
Well, Queen's Park Rangers have scored the most goals in the final 15 minutes of games in the Championship so far this season, but it's all about containment at the moment. But they've not enjoyed too many clean sheets. Of course, they did beat Blackburn here 1-0 in their most recent home game, but they've conceded after the 88th minute in the last 4 games they've lost, and 3 of those were in 2-1 defeats, so they've left points out on the field very late in games. As McKenna moves it forward now for Forest, wide to the left-hand side, and Lowe finding Zinkernagel. Dickey looks to make the challenge. Zinkernagel just stumbles and is lost out, and now it's Dickey charging forward on the overlap. Zinkernagel comes back though and makes the recovery challenge, does well in the circumstances, and it's a throw-in on the far side for Queen's Park Rangers, and they are not hurrying with just over 3 minutes to play.
Yeah, and Zinkernagel again, I mean, his output has been pretty poor since he's come on. You know, if I compare it to Lolly, I don't quite understand that change from Cooper. If there's something wrong with Lolly that we don't know about, but I thought Lolly was excellent in that role, that number 10 role, and Zinkernagel's just had no real impact on the game since he's come on at all. He hasn't moved as sharp. His ability on the ball has been poor as well, his end product.
Goal kick now for Nottingham Forest. Johansson has gone down, and he'll require some treatment, so more time will be added on at the end of this game. We had 6 added minutes in the first half, and of course towards the end of those, Queen's Park Rangers scored the goal. And Johansson just flexing his right knee with the medical team. And Forest can look back on so many near misses in the game, the vast majority of those during the first half, but it's all about taking your chances.
Yeah, I mean, you got to say Adoma made it. I thought he showed some glimpses in this game, you know, what he can offer this Rangers side. He's found it hard to break into it and get a place in it, but you know, he is definitely a player. If you want to go, if you're at home, you want to make the game and have someone creative in and around the final third. As that wing back, he is the one, certainly one of them.
Now Dykes has space, goes for goal from 40 yards. Optimistic effort, and it's high over the crossbar. But I think he's fairly wary, Lyndon Dykes. He tends to play the majority of games for both Queen's Park Rangers and Scotland. Charlie Austin used as a bit part player, mainly in the league. Of course, he's been a starter in the League Cup, and he scored 2 of his 3 goals in that competition so far this season. And we're heading towards the 90th minute. And the Queen's Park Rangers fans in a crowd of just over 15,000 looking to will their team home here, leading by a goal to 0 on TalkSport 2. Don't forget, Autumn International Rugby Union on TalkSport 2 tomorrow, including Wales against New Zealand. We start with Scotland against Tonga at 2 o'clock. All the football is on the TalkSport app or on TalkSport. Strong challenge from Adebayo to Rob Mighton on the far side, and now Adoma goes through the gears once again down the right hand side. They'll just be looking to head towards the corner flag. He's got no support whatsoever, so he goes towards the corner flag. Does he get the free kick as he goes down? No, he doesn't. It's a throw into Forest.
He's unlucky. I mean, lovely play there. Adoma had nothing on himself, so he just had to make the yardage up himself. Now he's got to get back pretty quick in position.
Very soon, all eyes will be on Oliver Langford, the 4th official, to see how much added time we will have at the end of this game. As Dickey brings it forward again, looks for Adoma down the right. A minimum of 4 more minutes. Mighton moving forward now for Forest. Wide to Zinkernagel down the left-hand side. He comes in field again, has Colback in support, but goes all the way back towards McKenna. Now Spence. Forest rather narrow, and it's Yates who provides the width on this near side. Turns in field beyond Amos. High cross to the far post, headed away though as far as Colback. Colback left foot shot, deflected and in! And Nottingham Forest have the equaliser in the first minute of added time. It took a heavy deflection, but it's Jack Colback who is receiving the congratulations. A player who barely scores a goal into his first since March of 2019, and right at the very end, Nottingham Forest may have a point they'll believe they deserve. It is 1-1.
Well, it's a thunderous finish here from Colback. Just picks up the second ball as it's cleared to the edge of the box, takes it on his chest, and then he lashes it towards goal. It does take a nick of one of the QPR players as it makes its way into the back of the net. I think it might be Jimmy Dunn, maybe. It just deflects off, but nonetheless, really good strike, good power on it. I mean, they kept the ball alive as well here, Nottingham Forest. I think they're just about onside as they work this ball out wide. Good ball into the areas, cleared to the edge, and there's Jack Colback doing what he was doing a little bit earlier when he was brought down in the box. This time on the edge, just lets fly. I think it's done, maybe, is it? Just heads it past his keeper.
May go down as an own goal in the end. Colback shot, and it was diverted by the head of Dunn beyond Dieng, and yet again Queen's Park Rangers concede in the final moments. It's cost them 3 defeats so far this season, and it may have cost them 2 points here. But Jack Colback celebrating his first goal since March of 2019. A couple of red smoke bombs have been let off behind the goal away to our right-hand side in the aftermath of the celebrations. A couple of yellow cards were also dished out by the referee. And now it's a free kick for Nottingham Forest. Of course, they scored 2 very late goals to turn defeat into victory at Bristol City recently.
That is right. And obviously, this is where Zinchenko, if he's on it here, can he show a little bit of quality? He hasn't done it so far. He's got to get this delivery right.
And all the noise is Nottingham noise inside the Kyan Prince Foundation Stadium at the moment. Zinchenko is over the free kick on this near side. I think Joe Worrell was the player who was shown a yellow card during the celebrations for the equalising goal. All the Forest players were piling in towards the supporters behind the goal. Zinchenko is over the free kick. Forest looking to win the game now. Zinchenko's delivery high towards the far post, and it's nodded behind for a corner. Barbe was in the way, and it's Queen's Park Rangers now who are looking for victory, who are hanging on for a point.
Well, it's a really good ball in from Zinchenko. Can he get this one right as well? He's got to beat the first man here. Get it away from the likes of Dickey standing in the middle of that 6-yard box on the zone.
Zinchenko will take the corner. Another outswinger towards the near post, and it's cleared and then fired back by Johnson and blocked on the edge of the area by Johansson. Mighton will regather for Forest on the far side. We're heading towards the end of the initially 4 added minutes. Mighton with a deep cross towards the far post, headed away by Amos, and then the second header is won by Dunn, and Barbe will try and bring it clear on this near side. He believes he was fouled, but it's the full-time whistle. A point apiece in the end, a handshake between Steve Cooper and Mark Warburton. Nottingham Forest left relieved in the end. They dominated the first half but conceded right at the end of the 45 minutes. The scorer was Lyndon Dykes, but it's the Queen's Park Rangers players who are left down. A couple of them, including Jimmy Dunn, flat out on the pitch, very, very disappointed. It was Dunn's deflection which sent Jack Colback's shot spinning beyond Kenny Dieng in the 91st minute, and it's finished. Queen's Park Rangers 1, Nottingham Forest 1.